told your friend you're not okay.
Amidst the increasingly crowded global music industry, the presence of South Korean artists on the world stage is no longer surprising. Digital music platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, Melon, and various other streaming services have transformed into global battlegrounds, where soloists compete to achieve the highest possible streaming numbers. And January 2026 was one of the months that showcased just how fierce that competition is. In the list of most streamed K-soloists across all audio-on-demand platforms, January 2026, we see familiar names. Jungkook dominates with 19.79 billion streams, a figure that demonstrates the breadth of his global reach. Jimin follows with 16.34 billion, while Jennie, a global icon with superstar status in both the West and the East, records 11.77 billion. On the same list, Rose and Lisa also demonstrate the strength of their global fan bases with 10.69 billion and 9.17 billion, respectively. But among these giants, there's one unique phenomenon that's not only sparking conversation, but also demonstrating something bigger than mere statistics. Taehyung, with 11.41 billion streams, sits right in the middle of a group of names with massive promotional strategies and far more expansive catalogs. What makes his achievement striking isn't just the number itself, but how he achieved it. While other artists rely on full-length albums, numerous remixes, international collaborations, and major global campaigns, Taehyung has taken a completely different approach. He released just one EP, Layover, without gimmicks, no English-language album, no massive promotion run in the United States, no solo concerts around the world, and no string of Hollywood-branded collaborations. Many artists consider strategy in various forms: how to get on global playlists, how to appeal to the American market, how to create alternative versions to boost streaming numbers. But Taehyung? He releases music like an artist who places complete faith in the quality of his work. And what happens? The world listens. Consistently. Without being forced. Without worry. Without a campaign touting the numbers. This is a phenomenon. A phenomenon rarely seen in the highly competitive digital industry. If we look at it strategically, Taehyung's position becomes even more prominent. Jungkook has a larger catalog of songs, collaborations with international artists, and numerous videos and concerts that keep his momentum high. Jimin has a more massive album with multiple versions and global promotions. Jennie, Rose, and Lisa are known as the three golden ladies of the global industry, with impressive promotional networks and catalogs with English-language releases and major collaborations. But Taehyung's standing there isn't because of strategy. Not because of promotions. Not because of a large number of releases. He's standing there because people genuinely enjoy his music. Taehyung's music has a distinct quality. It's not songs made to chase playlists, not songs created for streaming numbers or TikTok trends, not production focused on easy virality. Each track on his mini-album feels more like a work of art, more like a small slice of the inner world of an artist who understands aesthetics and atmosphere. And when music is created with honesty, there are usually two outcomes: it fails miserably, or it becomes a work beloved for its authenticity. In Taehyung's case, it's the latter, on a global scale. Moreover, his top 6 spot demonstrates that influence doesn't always come from quantity, but from enduring quality. Many artists release numerous songs, but not all leave a lasting impression. Taehyung's music, with its jazz, soul, and soft retro vibes, has become an escape for many listeners worldwide. He creates a safe space, a peaceful space, a place to breathe amidst the rigors of modern life. His achievement also demonstrates something rarely discussed: Taehyung's listener loyalty is incredibly strong. They don't just listen when there's a comeback, they return to his music even when there's no new activity. And this is something that many artists, even global artists, struggle to achieve. Taehyung's entry into the top 6 also sends an important message, that an artist doesn't need to conform to industry standards to stay at the top. He can create his own standards. He can forge his own path. He could redefine what it means to be a global soloist. However, Taehyung's achievement in the top 6 global streaming charts is only the tip of the iceberg. When we look more deeply into how the industry's dynamics have evolved over the past few years, it becomes clear that Taehyung's phenomenon didn't emerge overnight. It's the result of a long journey for an artist who chose to stand outside the mainstream, yet was revered for his uniqueness. One thing that many people often forget is that Layover, the only mini-album that underpins Taehyung's entire career, wasn't actually released to follow a commercial formula. It was more like a personal statement, a snapshot of his identity, mood, and the emotional journey he wanted to convey. There were no EDM-tinged tracks to chase streams, no pop songs deliberately designed to go viral, no big-name collaborations to appeal to the American market. It was all pure Taehyung. And because of that, this album holds a special place in the hearts of its listeners. If we pull together the threads of the previous narrative, one important conclusion begins to emerge: Taehyung's music isn't heard, it's felt. And that's why, despite only having one mini-album, he's been able to leapfrog into a list typically dominated by artists with large catalogs and aggressive promotions. But interestingly, Taehyung's success in the streaming world has also opened up a broader discussion about how music consumption is changing. In an era where algorithms dictate so much, who appears on playlists, who gets recommended, who gets exposure, Taehyung thrives without relying on any of that. His music doesn't need the push of an algorithm to thrive. It thrives through word of mouth, recommendations from fellow listeners, and the comfort the music itself provides. And this is a rare phenomenon. Typically, artists who release music infrequently experience a rapid decline in streaming. But this hasn't happened to Taehyung. Especially when he was serving his mandatory military service and couldn't actively promote, his streaming numbers have actually stabilized, even increasing in some periods. This shows that his listeners aren't just listening once and leaving, they're coming back again and again. At this point, we begin to understand that Taehyung's position in the top 6 isn't just a statistic. This position reflects the phenomenon of a loyal audience that continues to persist, even without Tae's physical presence. While the previous narrative highlighted how other artists relied on full-length album strategies, international promotions, major collaborations, and a diverse range of releases to boost streaming numbers, this follow-up narrative showcases how Taehyung stands as a guiding principle. He isn't an artist chasing numbers, the numbers chase him. Furthermore, this success symbolizes a shift in the K-pop music industry itself. While the industry has long held the belief that more releases equals more streaming, Taehyung has proven the opposite. One strong work can have a greater impact than 10 mediocre works. This has led many music analysts to view Taehyung as one of the clearest examples of how personal brand, listener loyalty, and consistent musical strength can create long-term effects. Some industry observers have even called Taehyung the most stable solo artist of his generation, not because of the number of releases, but because of the quality and longevity of his music. And when the music world changes as rapidly as it does now, the ability to stay relevant without doing anything for months on end is nearly impossible, except for someone with Taehyung's natural charm and honesty. The most connecting point of the previous narrative to this follow-up is how Taehyung became the only artist in the top 6 to indirectly challenge the industry structure. From just one mini-album, he built his entire streaming power. From music that didn't follow trends, he created a new trend for himself. From a lack of promotion, he generated a loyalty that's rare. And because it all started from deeply artistic values, not strategy, Taehyung has proven one big thing. True influence can't be constructed. True influence is born from the uniqueness, serenity, and honesty of one's work.
You're not okay.